Hi everyone, and welcome to APT University. Today we're going to be discussing barcode scanning in AdvancePro and our AP label services. We will be taking any questions at the end, so if you have questions, feel free to enter them in the questions tab of our GoToWebinar panel. We do post new videos from these webinars every week under the Resources tab on AdvanceProTech.com. So if you'd like to learn more about AdvancePro, we have hours of video content there, including our video tour of AP Mobile, which is another tool for mobile barcode scanning on a smart device. So to begin working with barcode scanning in AdvancePro, we'll come into the software. You are going to come into the admin panel. So we'll come over to admin, and we're going to visit the utilities area under the barcoding area where we can enable most of these features. If you don't have a key for this module, reach out to an AdvancePro advisor. Now, once the key is entered, you are going to see that we have a couple of options here, including options to go ahead and enable putting a barcode directly on your order printouts for the customer order, the warehouse, that would be your pick, pack, ship slip, or the customer invoice, or for the vendor order, the warehouse vendor order, the receiving ticket, and the vendor bill as well. So you can go and enable those, and that's just making it easier to quickly find an order within AdvancePro or within AP Mobile by scanning a paper document. So let's go visit a receiving ticket, and I'll show you how this works with our scanning module enabled. Go ahead and save that. And we'll go over to the warehouse tab. This is where most of your actions with a barcode scanner are going to happen. We'll come into our orders to receive, and we'll open up a receiving ticket. So here you'll see there's a scanner search area that's been enabled down in the bottom right. Now we can scan by SKU, UPC, or a custom barcode, which I'll get to in a minute. If we go by SKU or UPC, we can just go ahead and enter in. I'm going to just manually go ahead and type this in, but you can go ahead and scan into this field using any scanner, and as long as the content of the barcode matches the barcode being used on the order, you'll see our count just went up by 1. So we could do that over and over again with our various barcodes that we're putting into this field. Now we can also have a picking location setting, in which case you'll walk up and scan the picking location. We recommend putting a barcode label on your location. So as you walk up to your shelf, you can go ahead and scan the shelf and scan the product as you're putting it onto the shelf where you put it away. Or for picking, just the reverse. You'll walk up and scan the shelf, and you'll scan the item as you take it off the shelf. So this is how picking and how receiving work with our scanner. So if we were to visit back in our warehouse dashboard, we head up to orders to pick. I'll show you where that scanner search appears here. You'll see it. We'll go into one that's not being edited. There we go. We've got scanner search available up in the upper right as well. And again, we'll have a picking location option available if we're using picking locations. So this talks a lot about how to use picking locations as we work with items that are already labeled. Now AdvancePro does also offer a labeling solution, and this labeling solution is going to work with one of our pieces of software called Bartender. So we'll go ahead and start up Bartender. Now Bartender is the item that we use, the software that we use for our AP label services, and this allows us to customize a barcode to your needs, and we actually were able to pull information directly from AdvancePro. So if you want to bring in a SKU with a set UPC, if we want to work with any other option that we might have set up, we would use Bartender to go and select those UPC codes that we want to use, or those SKU codes that we want to use, or to generate serial numbers, or to work from serial numbers that are on an existing purchase order. It can all be printed off with Bartender. And so this is how AP Label works, is we'll customize the label. We can work with any label printer that you'd like. We can work with any document that you might like, or in terms of printing off, say you want to be able to print off all the labels for a purchase order that's on its way in. At this point, you'll be able to use our AP label service to queue up that purchase order number 50, for example, and it'll tell you all of the labels that you'll need to print off, and you can go ahead and put those labels on the product and then scan it into inventory. Or you can do it the other way. You can receive the items into inventory and then label them. It's entirely up to you. So you have these various options. Now, as we're talking about these options for creating labels, there is something else that I want to address, which is the custom barcoding feature. So a normal barcode is going to contain one piece of information. It's going to have the SKU or the UPC. You'll see on an outbound order you can scan out by serial number as well. Now, if you want an item, if you want to identify an item with more than one piece of information, this is where custom barcode comes in. Custom barcode allows us to use more than one piece of information in a single scan. So for example, if you want to receive your items in and with a single scan, identify the item itself by SKU or UPC, identify the lot number that the item belongs in, and identify the quantity of items in a case that belong to that lot number, you would use a custom barcode for that. Or another application would be with a serial number. If you're scanning in with a serial number, you're limited to a single serial number, but you could say this is SKU 123 and it has a serial number 456 in that example. So you would be able to, in a single scan, grab both of those pieces of information. Now this is a simple system that we can set up and that you can use with our AP labeling software or with any other label that your vendors might be sending you. Let's head over and we'll talk about how to calibrate that. So we're going to go to admin, we're going to go to utilities, and we're going to go to, once again, our barcoding area. And you're just going to click on this image of a barcode. This brings up our custom barcoding feature. So the first thing that you can do is you can go and choose a vendor. And I'm going to select a specific vendor. And at this point, it's going to allow us to configure how our barcode is going to be laid out. You have two options. You can have a delimited barcode where you have a specific character, like in this case a hyphen, that's telling you where one piece of information stops and the other one starts. This is a little bit more dynamic. This one says SKU is in position 0, so the SKU is going to be the first thing that you see because all of these are going to start counting at 0. Then when you see the first hyphen, we're going to move into whatever's at position 1, which is the quantity. So in this case, we would receive a SKU and a quantity. So let's say the SKU was 123 and the quantity was 10. Let's see how that comes through. So you'll see now we're picking up a SKU of 123 and a quantity of 10 from that single barcode. So we can go and scan a barcode that contains this information and get these two pieces of different information out of it. Now we could say something goes in position 3. We could say the serial number does. Go ahead and update that. Now we would have, for example, SKU 123, quantity of 1, serial number 456. And we can go ahead and pull that in. Now it doesn't like combining quantity with serial number. So instead, we are going to come over here and we're going to give that actually a weight instead. So we'll update that. So a weight of 1 and a serial number of 456. So it seems happy with it, but it's not so happy because I've gone straight to 3 when it should be 2. There it is. There we go. So we've got a SKU of 123. We have a weight of 1, and we have, in this case, a serial number of 456. So this is one application. Now, this is the delimited version of a custom barcode. This is very flexible because you can have SKUs and quantities of different numbers of characters. If you don't have a delimiter, you are set to a specific number of characters. So you would say the SKU starts in position 0, that's the first character, and it goes until position 3, so it's got a length of 3. So it's actually 0, 1, 2. It goes to position 2. So it's got a length of 3. Then we would look at, to do the same configuration, we would get rid of our delimiters, and now we have something like this. Now we still have a quantity of 1, so we start 0, 1, 2, takes us to the end of our SKU, so we start in position 3 for the weight, and it's got a length of 1. And then up here, oh, sorry. Here we go. We'll get rid of the quantity setting entirely. So the serial number now starts in position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll start that in position 4. And it has a length of 3 in this case. So we're starting at 0 and we're counting the number of characters up. So I'm quickly going to go ahead and copy that field, and we'll hit update. And we'll paste that in, and we'll see how that goes. So there we got our SKU, we got our weight, and we got our serial numbers, and we didn't use a delimiter to do it. So we're just setting what information is in which character by counting the characters starting at 0. This is another way we can go ahead and calibrate these custom barcodes. Now, something to note about custom barcodes is they are locked to a vendor profile. You can only have one type of custom barcode per vendor. So vendors that are sending you pre-barcoded items must have a consistent barcode setup. If they're inconsistent, you might look at building your own consistent barcode setup so you can work internally consistent. You can apply a specific vendor's custom barcode profile across all vendors, and you can also apply it to picking, packing, and shipping. So if you do that, that's your outbound custom barcode features. You would set something up for one vendor, and then you would apply it to your picking, packing, and shipping. Under advanced options, you can do things like setting up your date format. So that's done from down here if you want to work with a specific date format for your expiry date. This way you could bring in a SKU, a quantity, a lot, and an expiry date all in a single scan. There's also a number of other advanced options here. So talking about quantities and weights and the number of decimal units. So if you have it set up so that, for example, 001010 would actually be set at 10 pounds. That would be when you have the number of decimal units. So if you set this to 2, we would get something like that, where the last 2 digits are always decimals for the quantity field or for the weight field. So you just go ahead and set the number of decimal digits that you want to go. So there's a lot of advanced capability here to really get in and customize something that's going to give you a lot of efficiency as you're scanning product in or out of your inventory. So this covers our basic tour of barcoding today and scanning throughout AdvancePro. As mentioned, you may want to take a look at our AP Mobile tour to talk about how you can scan with a mobile device on Android. So go ahead and take a look at that. That's on AdvanceProTech.com under the Resources tab in the APTU section, or you can look on our YouTube channel. So at this point, we're going to start to take some questions. If you have any questions, you can enter them in the Questions tab of your GoToWebinar panel, and we'll just hold on just a moment for questions. And we did get one. So how can we construct a custom barcode in AP Label? So as we mentioned, this is something that we customize for you. We can build a custom barcode for you, or build a custom label for you that can draw information from AdvancePro. So for example, if you want to label a specific product that has a SKU and a UPC, for example, we can go and grab a particular product from AdvancePro, and we can have a little profile for it that gets pulled into AP Label. So if we go into a specific product, it may or may not have a UPC code, but we can pull all of the information that's present across the entire product profile, including customer SKUs. If you have customer SKUs created, you can put all of that into your custom label, and they can be mixed and matched into a custom barcode for you. So it all gets generated based on the information you have in AdvancePro. Okay. I hope that answers your question. I'm not seeing any other questions right now, so we'll just hold on for a short minute, and we'll give people just a moment to ask any further questions before we wrap up today. All right, seeing no more, feel free to, if you have any other questions, feel free to fill them out on the questionnaire that will be sent to you afterwards, as well as you can always reach out to our tech support team or your AdvancePro advisor. Have a great afternoon, everyone.